In this video, I'll be talking about becoming a millionaire and starting with only $100, since I think that is a fair amount of money for the average person, and you should definitely be able to take $100 from your wallet or your account, or even if you don't have $100, it's much easier to get $100 as opposed to thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, yes, you saw the title of this video, and this video is not clickbait. I'll be talking about how to get to 1 million starting with only $100. So we're going to be talking about 3 simple things that you can do starting with $100 if you're the average person, and you should be able to easily pull this off. However, while the steps are simple and this sounds a lot easy, doing it is a lot harder than saying it, and this requires more consistency than anything else. Now, just before we jump into all the details and all the information that I have for you guys today, a special shout out to all my returning viewers and my subscribers. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel once again. I really appreciate all the support. And if you're new here and you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Eann, and on this channel I talk about ways to make money, ways to save money, ways to invest your money. I talk about bank accounts, I talk about credit cards, I talk about everything to do with personal finance. So if you like these videos and you like these types of topics, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a ton. And also be sure to consider subscribing to the channel with all the notifications on, and that way you'll never miss the updates of when I post new videos, which is every single day. So let's get into method number 1 of becoming a millionaire with only $100. And this is very simple, and this is by investing and using dollar cost averaging to invest in the stock market. And I'm not going to just tell you guys, I'm actually going to show you guys with an investment calculator how you could get to 1 million by starting out with just $100. Now, before I bring up this calculator, some key takeaways that you need to know here is that you can do this with boring index funds or ETFs, and you should also always choose ETFs that don't charge you a lot of management fees. And so, for instance, you can use Vanguard. Usually the fees are less than 0.30% to manage those ETFs, and this way you can get to keep more of your money. So if you have $100 right now and you open a brokerage account and you invest this money for 45 years, and we're using this as an example, let's say you started investing at 20 years old and you invested for 45 years because you wanted to retire at age 65 and you wanted to have at least 1 million in your investment account at age 65. And of course, you can change the age and the numbers to match your specific situation, but I'll be using this as an example. So if you start out with $100 and you're investing this money for 45 years, and the average return of the S&P 500, which is your simple, regular, boring index fund or ETF from Vanguard, for example, and after investing this $100, you're going to be investing $75 per week. Now, the investment calculator that I'm using doesn't allow you to contribute weekly, but it does allow monthly. So 75 times 4 is 300. So 300 in additional investments per month, which works out to be $75 per week because each month has 4 weeks. So by investing $75 per week on your initial investment of $100 and getting a return of 8 to 10% per year, and we're using the lower of that range at 8%. At the end of 45 years, you'd have a total of 1.4 million, and your total contributions would be $160,000. So you're taking $160,000 and you're turning it into 1.4 million. And because we don't have $160,000 to invest today, right now, you're making small contributions to this investment portfolio of only $75 per week. Now, $75 per week is definitely not a lot of money. I'm sure if you're the average working person, you'll probably spend $75 per week on stuff that you don't want, don't need, and you probably just don't even remember what you spent $75 on last week. And you could easily find that money to invest every single week, and it wouldn't really affect your current lifestyle, and you could continue living just the way you're living right now. Now, if you're looking for a platform to use and invest like this, you can check out M1 Finance, which is the platform that I primarily use for investments. I'll leave a link below to it, and that way you can get $50 for free for signing up after you deposit your first $100 in your M1 Finance account. And even if you don't know a lot about ETFs or investment, M1 Finance already has some pre-built portfolios, and other investment apps have these pre-built portfolios as well. And these are pre-built portfolios where you simply answer a couple of questions in the app, such as what is your age, How long do you plan to invest for? What are your investment goals? Are you trying to get dividend income? Are you trying to make money in the short term? Are you trying to build wealth over the long term? They'll ask you what style of investing you prefer. Do you prefer to manage your investments yourself, or do you want to invest in a fund and have your investments managed by the platform? And you'll answer all these questions, and then the app will actually give you some pre-built portfolios where you can simply invest. Keep investing, and those portfolios will have all the stocks and funds that can help you to build wealth. In fact, some of the categories that M1 has with pre-built portfolios are, for example, they have general investing, they have planning for retirement, they have income earners, and they have just stocks and bonds, they have hedge funds, and they have a lot of pre-built portfolios that you can simply grab and start investing. And the best thing about these pre-built portfolios is that they all have a history, and you can see what is actually inside the pre-built portfolio in terms of the assets in the portfolio. You can also see the past performance of that pre-built portfolio over the past month, past quarter, the past year, or even the past 10 years or more. So you can have an idea of just how much returns this portfolio yields, which will give you a better idea of what returns to expect when investing in some of these expert pies or expert portfolios, as M1 Finance calls them. Now, as I mentioned before, you can find the same thing in other investment apps or brokerage accounts. They may have different names, but it's the same thing. So if you go with SoFi Invest or Acorns or some other investment app or platform, you should still be able to find some pre-built portfolios where you can invest or find an investment strategy that you really like. So the point here is that without having a lot of money up front, you can start with $100 and you can actually build your wealth up to 1 million. And yes, it does take years, it takes time, but most people end up with way less than $1 million in their retirement years. In fact, a study done in June this year shows that in 2019, the average American retirement account savings for American households was only $65,000, and the average American over the age of 35 years has only $13,000 saved for retirement. So if you're a working person, you know that $65,000 is definitely not a lot of money to retire on. And this is why a lot of people get trapped into working in their retirement years, also working until the day they die, which doesn't really sound fun to me. So the point is, if you can avoid this, you should, and you can start saving or investing small amounts of money right now. And you should do this because at the end of 35, 40, or 45 years, you'll be really happy that you'll have 1 million in retirement savings or a retirement investment account, rather than having what the average American household has, which is only $65,000. Now, this is just step one. And step two is to be frugal with your spending. And when I say frugal, I don't mean that you need to recycle soap or you need to take showers once a week to save on utilities or anything crazy like that. When I say be frugal, I mean that you need to live your life on a budget. And you simply just need to spend less than you earn. So if you're spending more money than you're actually earning per month, it means that you're living outside of your means. And that's definitely not what you want to do, although it is the norm today. Living like that is going to be hindering you from building wealth. And so to easily get your personal finances on track, you need to create a budget, which means that you simply need to know how much money you make per month from your full-time job, from your side gig, from any other income sources you have. And you also have to know how much money you're spending every single month. And then this way you can organize your finances in such a way that you ensure that every single month or week or year, you're spending less money than you're actually earning. And that way you'll find it a lot easier to build wealth. Now, another point I want to make here is that it's also not really important as to how much money you actually make, because I could be making $150,000 per year, but I could also be spending $150,000 per year, while you could be making $50,000 per year and you're only spending $30,000 per year. And even though I made more money than you did, you can still build a lot more wealth than I would, because I just had poor financial habits which kept me poor. This is why I chose to give the example of investing as number one in this video, because I wanted to show you guys how much money you could have by simply investing as little as $75 per week and just being consistent with it over a long period of time. Now, the third thing that I want to mention in this video is not necessarily a way to use $100 to become a millionaire, but it is a factor that really affects any wealth building that you'll do, and this is to get rid of debt. So if you have credit card debt or student loans or auto loans, you should try to get rid of them, especially if you're not making a lot of money, because if you have a car payment of, let's say, $500 per month and you owe $25,000 on your credit card and you're making payments on all these debts of $600 or more per month, and you're making, let's say, $40,000 to $50,000 per year, which is average, then you're really just hurting yourself in the long run by spending money on things that you don't really need right now. If you put that $600 per month towards some type of investments, doesn't necessarily have to be in the stock market. This could be a side hustle or a side business. You would get much greater rewards from $600 invested in your business every single month rather than putting it in, let's say, a car note or a credit card, because you did impulsive spending and you spent money on a lot of things that you didn't even need in the first place. So if you have debt, get rid of it, start paying off your debts. If you are in a lot of debt, you can watch my videos on popular debt strategies or debt payment strategies that work. I'll leave a link to that video here. You can watch that video after this one, as it explains some different strategies that you can take to get yourself out of debt if you feel overwhelmed by having multiple types of debt. So with that said, these are three major things that I think if you can get them under control, if you can do them consistently, you'll definitely be able to become a millionaire. And it may not happen overnight, it may not happen in just a few years, but if you are consistent, numbers don't lie and people are doing this, and you can do it as well. So with that said, give this video a thumbs up if you like the content and subscribe with the notifications on if you like this video, and that way you'll get the notifications of when I post new videos, which is every day on this channel. Also, I want you guys to comment below with any other tips that you have that can help anyone to build wealth with $100 or less, so that anyone else that comes across this video will be able to see your ideas and your strategies as well. So with all that said, thanks for watching. All the best with your investments and building long-term wealth, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next one.